Hello there.
Hi, Harry.
Hello. How are you?
I'm fine.
Good. My name's Harry. What's your full name, please?
My full name is Andy Tae Won Xiong.
Okay, so Andy Tae Won Xiong, and we're doing ISE II today. So nice to meet you, Andy. Do you live in Croydon?
No, I live at Mayfair.
Mayfair. Oh, so quite a long journey for you today.
Yeah. Quite a journey.
Good. We're going to start with your topic today then, Andy. What's the title of your topic?
It's just football.
Football, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, and why did you choose to talk about football?
Oh, I think football is so easy to talk about. And it's my pastime. So I think I should have no problem talking about it.
I see. Okay. So, do you prefer to play football or to watch football?
I actually prefer to watch football. I can't actually play. I actually play basketball more.
Oh, you play basketball. Oh, what about when you were younger?
When I was younger, so I played basketball actually. So along the way, friends watch football, and then like Eric Cantona, Manchester United, and then you start getting involved in watching football, and then that's when I pick up watching. I tried to play it though, but I don't play it well. So
Right, I see. So there was no chance of you ever being a professional footballer.
I hope so, but nah, no chance.
Didn't happen. Right. Okay. So, will you watch the World Cup in the next few weeks?
Yes, I probably will watch. I understand there's a lot of controversy surrounding it, but I'll still watch it.
Yeah. You've got any predictions? Who do you think might possibly win?
There's so many strong teams out there. England, for one, they have a very strong team. Belgium, Brazil, the usual. But I give up predicting already. I'm just going to watch and enjoy.
Very wise. Very wise.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And so, is there a particular football team that you enjoy watching?
Yes, there is. It's actually Manchester United.
Why did you choose Manchester United as your team?
Back then, everybody, because I'm not from UK per se. So back then, everybody, they tend to watch the winning team, and then back then Manchester United was winning. And then when you get involved, you start watching, and then you go deeper into the history, about how they are as a football club. So that attract me, and I
have you ever been to the stadium to see them play?
Not yet, but now that I'm in the UK, I'm planning to, hopefully within this season.
Yeah, I see. Why do you think it's better? What are the advantages of seeing the game in the stadium as opposed to at home on your sofa?
I would suppose the benefits of watching it live would be, for one, definitely the atmosphere. Nothing beats being there in this right there, watching the game right in front of you. But the other thing is, at the comfort of your home, you get to watch all the replays and the close-up shots. But pros and cons. But definitely, I'll take being at the stadium over watching at home every time. Anytime.
Right, I see. There's a lot of controversy at the moment with Manchester United and Ronaldo and things Mr. Ronaldo said. What advice would you give to Ronaldo at the moment?
At the moment, after all that's been said and done, I would say just be a graceful exit.
Make a graceful exit. I think that's very wise advice. Yeah. Well, he's 37 or 38, isn't he? So, yeah. Good. Okay, Andy. Well, thanks very much for telling me about football. We better move on to the next part of our time together, the collaborative task. Now, for this part, I'll tell you something. Then you have to ask me questions to find out more information and make comments. Okay? You need to keep the conversation going. After about 4 minutes, I'll end the conversation. Okay? Are you ready?
Yeah, ready.
Okay, now, my niece's school is thinking about making all the students study cooking. I'm not sure I agree with this.
To make everybody study cooking. For me, I actually agree with this.
You agree with it?
It's not that there's a right or wrong to it, but for me, I think that it's not a harmful skill to pick up. You know, whether you continuing doing it, whether you love it, that's another matter. But I don't think it's a bad skill to pick up at all. For one, it teaches you to be independent if need be.
Sure.
And then
But I mean, there's a lot of things on the school curriculum at the moment. The school curriculum is already very, very busy with mathematics, languages, everything like that.
Now that you mention, I do understand and see where you come from. But I would suppose that depends on at what age or which stage of the education they want to bring cooking into the curriculum. For example, if it's in primary school, probably it's too early. Kids are still young, the children are still young. It's not ideal. But when it's when they're preparing for their leaving school exam, I do understand. You do have a point. But
and you may say that young people they all eat takeaway anyway. They don't they prefer to eat takeaways. So,
but I would suppose it also sets them up. Get them start young and then prepare them for adulthood. I mean, sooner or later, it's a good skill to have. If you can cook for yourself.
Sure. I mean, what advice would you give to young people about sort of eating takeaways and learning to cook?
Having takeaways for one, I'm sure there are healthy options out there, but a lot of the food or takeaway food that you can buy, it tends not to be as healthy as it could be. So if you can cook, not only it can be more healthy, but it's also can be cost saving as well. So maybe not such a bad idea having this on the curriculum, but maybe we have to limit the number of hours they do it every week. You can introduce it as a curriculum, but what's the weightage it has on the curriculum itself in terms of hours or in terms of whether it's a passing grade you need or it's just a curriculum that you take without a pass-fail, so there's no pressure on the students. So, all this can be fine.
Well, thank you very much for telling me about that, Andy. Let's move on to the conversation part of our time together. I want to say something about the world of work at the moment. And it seems in the UK at the moment that there's low unemployment, but it's quite easy to find a job.
Sorry, you were saying there's low unemployment?
Yeah, I mean, there seems to be a low level of unemployment in the UK at the moment. So perhaps it's quite easy to find a job for people who want one.
I'm not familiar with UK employment. But my take is that probably the job market is open now, so there's more jobs available, and then my take for this is that as long as you're willing to work, I don't think it's hard to find a work. It's whether you are willing to accept that level of job. So I suppose jobs are everywhere. It's whether the individual
and I
wants
suppose they say there's more and more jobs in technology and the computer side of things. Is this something, obviously I'm not quite sure, where you grew up or anything like that, but have you noticed many changes in the type of jobs people are doing the past 20 years?
Oh yes, definitely. Because with the emerging of technology becoming so prevalent in our life, there's a lot of jobs that 20 years ago you wouldn't think of it being possible. Like, people can make a living being a YouTuber nowadays, It can be a social celebrity and
being a YouTuber. And of course, many people working from home.
Yes. With especially,
do you see advantages of working from home?
Oh yeah, definitely. Because I suppose the whole working from home came about mainly because of COVID as well. I think it convenienced the people. You don't have to travel to work. You can work because a lot of the tasks, I think, in nowadays, office work, admin work, regardless. Like even for example, now you and me having this conversation, I suppose you are also working from home.
Yeah.
So a lot of the work doesn't have to be face to face, or you have to go to the office.
Sure. Yeah. If we can do it like this, why not?
And it opens up the market as well. So like, you don't have to be in the UK, stay in the UK to work for a UK company. Now you can be in Bali or in some island, but still work for a
it makes life a lot easier in a lot of ways. Thank you, Andy. We better move on to the next part, which is the listening part of our time together. Okay, I'm going to share my screen with you. Okay, can you see a page saying ISE listening?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Okay, now you're going to hear a talk about an aspect of technology. You'll hear the talk twice. The first time, just listen, okay? Then I'll ask you to tell me generally what the speaker's talking about. Okay, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
ISE II.
Can you hear that okay?
Yes.
That's good? Okay.
Hello. In today's program, I'm going to talk about robots and their impact on our lives. Is it all beneficial, or are there some disadvantages too? Some of the advantages of using robots are obvious. In the workplace, they can take over many boring, repetitive factory jobs that humans used to do. An advantage that results from this is that people are free to do more interesting, creative work. That seems a very positive thing to most of us, doesn't it? It could improve the lives of many people. On top of this, robots are more efficient than human beings because they don't need breaks or holidays. They never get bored or ill, they don't complain or get hungry or tired, and they don't need to be paid. And it isn't only in factories that robots can be useful. A robot could also help someone who is recovering from an illness to do exercises or bring meals to a patient in hospital. They can do lots to help elderly or sick people to cope with their daily lives. Another advantage is that robots can do dangerous or dirty jobs for us. We can send them into space or down to the bottom of the ocean, which allows us to explore these places without risking human lives. We can expose robots to dangerous chemicals or extremes of heat or cold, which would be risky for humans. But is it all good news? Do robots also have some disadvantages for us? Well, many people think so. One obvious disadvantage is that if they do our jobs for us, many of us will be unemployed. That's quite a worrying thought for a lot of people. Also, robots are expensive to develop and maintain. They don't have to be paid, but they still cost a lot. Finally, would you really like to be looked after in hospital by a robot nurse? Robots don't have the emotions or feelings of human beings, so they can't interact with us in the way another person can. Many people would say that the relationship between a patient and a nurse can be an important part of recovering from an illness. We can never get the warmth and support we get from another person from a robot. A robot cannot love or care for us. In conclusion, I would say that robots can help us in many ways, but there are also many things that only humans can do.
Okay, Andy, can you tell me in one or two sentences what the speaker was talking about?
The speaker is talking about how robots can help us in our life, but at the same time there are certain disadvantages to using robots over humans.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Now let's listen to the talk again. This time you can make some notes as you listen if you want to. Then I'll ask you to tell me about the advantages and the disadvantages of robots. Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Hello. In today's program, I'm going to talk about robots and their impact on our lives. Is it all beneficial, or are there some disadvantages too? Some of the advantages of using robots are obvious. In the workplace, they can take over many boring, repetitive factory jobs that humans used to do. An advantage that results from this is that people are free to do more interesting, creative work. That seems a very positive thing to most of us, doesn't it? It could improve the lives of many people. On top of this, robots are more efficient than human beings because they don't need breaks or holidays. They never get bored or ill, they don't complain or get hungry or tired, and they don't need to be paid. And it isn't only in factories that robots can be useful. A robot could also help someone who is recovering from an illness to do exercises or bring meals to a patient in hospital. They can do lots to help elderly or sick people to cope with their daily lives. Another advantage is that robots can do dangerous or dirty jobs for us. We can send them into space or down to the bottom of the ocean, which allows us to explore these places without risking human lives. We can expose robots to dangerous chemicals or extremes of heat or cold, which would be risky for humans. But is it all good news? Do robots also have some disadvantages for us? Well, many people think so. One obvious disadvantage is that if they do our jobs for us, many of us will be unemployed. That's quite a worrying thought for a lot of people. Also, robots are expensive to develop and maintain. They don't have to be paid, but they still cost a lot. Finally, would you really like to be looked after in hospital by a robot nurse? Robots don't have the emotions or feelings of human beings, so they can't interact with us in the way another person can. Many people would say that the relationship between a patient and a nurse can be an important part of recovering from an illness. We can never get the warmth and support we get from another person from a robot. A robot cannot love or care for us. In conclusion, I would say that robots can help us in many ways, but there are also many things that only humans can do.
Okay, hello again, Andy. Right, now, tell me about the advantages and the disadvantages of robots, and I'll stop you after 1 minute.
Sure. Advantage of robots is that they can take over like mundane tasks, giving the more creative tasks to humans, so that we can enjoy our work. And then for robots, they are efficient in the sense that they never get hungry, they don't have to take a break, they never get sick, and you don't have to pay them. And they can also participate in like dangerous jobs, like going to a hot environment or a cold environment, going out to space or in the bottom depths of the ocean. So safety will be taken care of. For disadvantage, like if robot takes over a lot of the tasks that humans do, it can lead to unemployment, for example.
Okay.
And then robots are expensive because it takes a lot of money to develop and maintain them. And then for robots, what they will never have over humans is that they lack the so-called human touch. So imagine...
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Andy.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, it's finished. So, thank you.
Thank you.
We're all finished. It's been very nice speaking to you. Have a nice, quick journey back home.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.